Hello everyone, and welcome back to Scary Story. Tonight I have a tale for you that will make you think twice before turning off the lights. It's about a room, a simple, dark room, and the chilling secret it held. So, settle in, turn down the lights if you dare, and let's begin. Our story starts with a young couple, Leo and Clara. They had just bought their dream house, a charming old Victorian home on the outskirts of town. It was a fixer-upper for sure, with peeling paint and creaky floors, but they saw its potential. They spent weeks renovating, pouring their love and savings into every corner. There was just one room they hadn't touched, a small, windowless room at the end of the upstairs hallway. The previous owners had used it for storage, and it was filled with dusty boxes and forgotten junk. One Saturday, they decided it was time to tackle the storage room. They wanted to turn it into a cozy little library. As they cleared out the old boxes, they noticed something odd. The walls weren't plastered like the rest of the house. They were covered in thick, dark wood paneling, almost black in color. There were no light fixtures, no outlets, nothing. Just 4 dark walls, a floor, and a ceiling. "Weird," Leo said, running his hand over the strange, cold wood. "It's like this room was designed to be dark." Clara shivered, though the hallway was warm. "It feels heavy in here," she whispered. They dismissed it as just an odd design choice from a bygone era and planned to rip out the paneling the next day. That night, Leo was working late on his laptop in the living room. Clara had already gone to bed. Around midnight, he heard a faint sound from upstairs, a soft, rhythmic thudding. Thump, thump, thump. He paused, listening. It was probably just the old house settling, he told himself. But the sound continued, steady and deliberate. It seemed to be coming from the end of the hallway, right where the dark room was. Curiosity getting the better of him, he crept upstairs. The thudding grew slightly louder as he approached the door. He pressed his ear against it. Thump, thump, thump. It sounded like someone was gently knocking on the inside of the wall. He called out, "Clara? Is that you?" The thudding stopped instantly. Silence. He waited, his heart pounding. Nothing. Shaking his head, he figured his mind was playing tricks on him and went to bed. The next morning, they started work on the dark room. Leo took a crowbar to the paneling. As the first piece of dark wood splintered and came away from the wall, a strange, musty smell filled the air, like damp earth and something else, something vaguely sweet and unpleasant. Behind the paneling was not the expected plaster wall, but solid brick painted black. "More black?" Clara said, wrinkling her nose at the smell. "Who does this?" On the black brick, something was faintly scratched into the paint. Leo leaned in closer. They were words, scrawled over and over again. Covering the entire wall were the same 2 words. "Don't listen." A chill ran down their spines. "Don't listen to what?" Leo wondered aloud. They moved to the next wall, prying off more of the dark wood. The same musty smell, stronger now. And again, behind the paneling, black brick covered in the same frantic scrawl. "Don't listen, don't listen, don't listen." They worked in a tense silence, pulling down panel after panel. Every single wall was the same, a prison of black brick, covered in a desperate silent warning. By the time they finished, the room felt more menacing than ever. The air was thick with the strange smell, and the scrawled words seemed to watch them. That night, sleep didn't come easily. Every creak of the old house made them jump. A few nights later, Clara woke up suddenly. The room was pitch black. She thought she heard something. A whisper. It was so faint she wasn't sure if she was dreaming. She lay perfectly still, straining her ears. There it was again, a soft, hushed voice. It seemed to be coming from inside the walls of their bedroom. "Clara?" it whispered. It sounded like a child, a little boy. Her blood ran cold. She nudged Leo awake. "Leo, do you hear that?" she whispered, her voice trembling. Leo sat up, listening. The whispering had stopped. "I don't hear anything, honey," he said, his voice thick with sleep. "You were probably dreaming." But Clara knew she wasn't. She knew what she had heard. The whispers became a nightly occurrence, but only Clara could hear them. The voice would call her name. Sometimes it would hum a little tune. a simple, childish melody that was deeply unsettling. She started to lose sleep, her days filled with anxiety. Leo was growing concerned. He couldn't hear a thing and thought the stress of the renovation was getting to her. He suggested they see a doctor, but Clara refused. She wasn't crazy. The house was trying to tell her something. One night, the whispering was different. It wasn't just her name. "Help me," the small voice whispered from the walls. "I'm scared of the dark." The plea was so real, so filled with fear, that Clara's heart broke. The next day, ignoring Leo's worried protests, Clara went back into the dark room. The scrawled warnings, "Don't listen," seemed to mock her, but the child's voice haunted her. "Hello?" She called into the empty room. "Is someone there?" Silence. She remembered the voice saying it was scared of the dark. Acting on instinct, she grabbed a powerful flashlight from the garage and went back into the room, closing the door behind her. The heavy door clicked shut, plunging her into absolute blackness. Her heart hammered against her ribs. She fumbled with the flashlight, her hands shaking, and finally switched it on. The powerful beam cut through the darkness, illuminating the black brick and the frantic warnings. "I have a light," Clara said, her voice shaking but clear. "You don't have to be scared." And then she heard it. Not a whisper in the walls this time, but a clear voice right there in the room with her. "Thank you," said the voice of a little boy. Clara spun around, sweeping the flashlight beam across the room. It was empty. "Where are you?" she cried out. "I'm here," the voice said, sounding closer. "In the corner." She aimed the light at the corner of the room. There was nothing there but the floor and the two black brick walls meeting. "I can't see you," Clara said, her fear mixing with a strange sense of pity. "No one can," the boy replied sadly. "They put me in the wall. I can't get out." Clara's mind reeled. In the wall, it was impossible. "Who put you in the wall?" she asked. "The man in the dark," the boy whispered. "He didn't like my singing. He told me to be quiet. He said if I was quiet, he'd let me out, but he never came back." Clara felt a wave of nausea. She shone the light on the wall in the corner. It looked solid. "He lied to me," the boy's voice continued, now filled with a chilling anger. "They all lie. You'll lie too." "No, I won't," Clara promised, her voice desperate. "I'll help you. I promise." "You can't," the voice hissed, the childish tone gone, replaced by something cold and old. "But you can join me. It's so lonely in the dark." Suddenly the flashlight flickered and died. Clara was plunged into total, suffocating blackness. A small cold hand slipped into hers. Panic seized her. She screamed and scrambled for the door, fumbling for the knob. The hand gripped her tighter, its coldness seeping into her bones. She could hear faint, childish humming right beside her ear, the same unsettling tune she'd been hearing for weeks. Finally, her fingers found the doorknob. She twisted it and threw the door open, stumbling out into the lighted hallway and collapsing into Leo's arms. He had heard her scream and come running. He looked past her into the dark room. It was empty. The flashlight lay on the floor. When he picked it up, it switched on without a problem. They sealed the room that very day. They boarded it up, plastered over the door, and painted it to match the rest of the hallway. It was as if the room had never existed. They never spoke of it again. But things were never the same. Clara became quiet and withdrawn. She never slept soundly again, and she would often wake up in the middle of the night, humming a strange, childish tune in her sleep. Sometimes, on the quietest of nights, Leo would stand in the hallway outside the place where the door used to be, and if he listened very, very closely, he could almost hear a faint, rhythmic thudding from within the wall. Thump, 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 as if someone or something was waiting patiently in the dark. So the next time you find yourself in a dark room, listen closely. You never know who might be waiting there with you, just beyond what you can see. Thanks for listening to Scary Story. If you enjoyed this tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next descent into the darkness. Until next time, stay safe, and whatever you do, don't turn out the lights.